Have you ever noticed that lately? Just walking from your bed to the kitchen in the morning makes your legs feel heavy and tired. Or that climbing just a few stairs makes your heart pound and leaves you breathless. Have there been moments when your grandchild pulls on your hand, wanting to play, and instead of joining in, you find yourself saying, "I'm just too tired," as you look around for the nearest chair? I've had many days like that myself. My name is Dr. Howard Hayes, and I am an 80-year-old internal medicine specialist. It's been a while since I officially retired from my practice, but even now, I often find myself giving health advice to friends, neighbors, and acquaintances, and in all my years of seeing countless patients, I've come to a firm conclusion. That feeling of heaviness, of getting out of breath so quickly, isn't just a simple side effect of getting older. So many people assume that losing physical strength is just a natural, unavoidable part of aging, and they simply let it happen. But I've found that the real reason, in so many cases, is a deficiency in one crucial nutrient, protein. And the most amazing part is that this isn't a one-way street. You can absolutely get that strength back, often just by changing how you eat your breakfast, how you structure your meals, and the timing of your protein intake. Through decades of experience and knowledge, I've come to realize that protein isn't just a nutrient for building muscle. It is an absolutely essential element for maintaining every single function in our body. When your protein levels are low, it's not just your muscles that suffer. Your immune system weakens, your digestive function declines, and even your mental energy and vitality begin to fade. Many people try to supplement their protein by eating more meat or taking nutritional supplements, but the truly important factor isn't just what you eat, but how you eat it. As we age, our bodies can no longer digest and absorb protein as efficiently as they did when we were young. So, no matter how much good food you eat, it often happens that your body simply isn't able to properly use it. To solve this very problem, I have spent years researching and advising people on a protein intake method that is optimized for the body over 60. This isn't just a list of health facts. It is a piece of life wisdom that I have experienced firsthand and verified through the lives of countless patients. It is a truly sad thing to feel your physical strength decline to the point where daily life becomes a struggle. But the quality of your life can change dramatically just by altering one small habit. It is my deepest hope that this video can be a small catalyst that makes the rest of your life more vibrant and full of energy. Thank you for lending me your ear. I hope we can build a healthier future together. Tell me, in what moments have you recently felt a decline in your physical strength? Is it when you're climbing the stairs? Or is it the moment you try to get out of bed in the morning? Please let me know in the comments. I'd like to read each one and think about it with you. My wife is 78 this year. She has always been someone who took better care of her health than most, but a few months ago, I started to notice a sudden change. She would complain of a heavy ache in her lower back if she stood in the kitchen for too long. She started getting winded, climbing the stairs. On days she went to the market, her knees would ache so much that she'd sit in a chair and wouldn't want to get up for a long while. This was the same woman who used to run around and play endlessly with our grandchildren. Now, the words "I'm tired" had become a constant refrain. Seeing her like this, my own heart grew heavy. On a hunch, I decided to take a close look at her diet with her. She thought she was eating enough protein, but when we actually calculated her intake, it turned out she was getting less than 30 grams a day. But the problem wasn't just the amount of protein, it was also the timing. Her intake was inconsistent, and she often ate in a way that put a strain on her stomach. So, drawing on my experience as a physician, I completely redesigned my wife's meal plan. I focused on foods that were high in protein but also easy to digest and absorb. We built a menu around things like cod soup, simmered tofu, and chickpea dishes, and I made sure she ate these protein sources in 3 separate meals throughout the day. At first, my wife was skeptical. Will eating like this really make a difference? She asked, half doubting, but I encouraged her and we watched for the changes together. After 1 month, she said she felt a little lighter when she woke up in the morning. After 2 months, she noticed she wasn't getting as out of breath on the stairs. And by the end of the 3rd month, my wife was once again going to the market on her own with a light step She was taking our grandchildren for walks with energy and joy. The pain in her knees had noticeably decreased. Some evenings, after dinner, she would even be the one to suggest we go for a walk together. By listening to the signals your body is sending and changing one small habit, you can reclaim the vitality you've lost. This is not a problem that can be solved by simply eating a lot of steak. The most important thing is to understand your body's current condition and to consistently eat in a way that supports it. You have to hear the rest of this story to understand the whole picture. I hope this miraculous seeming story, born from a simple change, can be a great source of inspiration for you as well. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you watch until the end, you will understand why you need to change your diet. Starting right now, what is the most memorable health recovery experience you've had? Please share your story in the comments. Now, let's take a serious look at how muscle loss can change our daily lives. The silent progression of muscle loss sarcopenia. The muscles in our bodies begin a slow decline after the age of 30, decreasing by about 1% each year. After the age of 60, that rate accelerates, and we can lose up to 3% of our muscle mass annually. Because this change isn't visible on the surface, most people don't think it's a big deal and simply ignore it. You've probably felt it. You do the same activities you did when you were younger, but you get tired much more quickly. You feel out of breath after the slightest exertion. I call this phenomenon the silent progression. The rate at which we lose muscle is much faster than we think, but because the symptoms appear so gradually, most people just chalk it up to getting old, and so it goes until one day you suddenly find that climbing stairs is a monumental effort, and even getting up from a chair requires a push and a grunt. This quiet, creeping muscle loss is one of the biggest thieves of our vitality in later life. One of my former patients, a 70-year-old man named Michael Yamada, was a perfect example of this. He had been a farmer his whole life and was more confident in his physical health than anyone I knew. But after he turned 70, he came to me and said that his usual walking path, a route he had taken for years, was starting to feel burdensome. I asked him a simple question. Michael, have you noticed recently that your walking speed has slowed down quite a bit? He nodded slowly. He had changes in these everyday movements. Your walking speed, the ease with which you rise from a chair are the most important signals of muscle loss. Unfortunately, muscle loss, or sarcopenia, is difficult to confirm in a general health checkup and often requires specific tests or functional assessments. In Michael's case, we used a simple balance test and measured his walking speed, which confirmed that his muscle loss was quite advanced. When you lose muscle, it's more than just a simple inconvenience. Your risk of fractures from falls increases dramatically. Your metabolic rate drops, making it difficult to manage your weight. Your immune system weakens, leaving you vulnerable to various illnesses, and sometimes it can even lead to mental health issues like depression. To break this vicious cycle, you must increase your protein intake to preserve the muscle you have. Sufficient protein intake can slow down muscle loss and promote the synthesis of new muscle tissue. This is, without a doubt, the most reliable investment you can make for a healthy old age. Have you felt that your walking speed has slowed down recently? Or low stomach acid, the hidden barrier to protein digestion. For our bodies to use protein, they must first be able to properly digest it, but after the age of 60, the secretion of stomach acid naturally decreases. When this happens, protein doesn't get broken down properly and passes into the intestines in large chunks. In this situation, no matter how much high-quality protein you eat, your body simply cannot absorb it. When the stomach can't do its job, that undigested protein can actually cause indigestion and bloating. Ultimately, your body is deprived of the nutrients it needs, and you fall into a vicious cycle of low energy. This was exactly the case with a dear patient of mine, a 75-year-old woman named Mary Tanaka. Mary was diligent about eating meat and fish every day, but she complained that she always felt bloated and uncomfortable after meals. She had so little energy that she had stopped going out altogether. Tests revealed that her stomach acid secretion was remarkably low. I recommended that she switch to a protein source that was easier to digest, one with a softer texture, like codfish, specifically dried cod, known as pollock in some places, is an excellent choice. The drying process has already started to break down the protein's molecular structure, making it incredibly easy on the stomach. When digestion is simpler, it's much easier for the body to absorb the nutrients. For those with a weaker digestive system, softer proteins are far superior to tough ones, like chicken breast or beef. Tofu, other types of fish, and legumes are all excellent choices. If you frequently experience bloating or a feeling of heaviness after eating, it's possible you're dealing with low stomach acid and you need to reevaluate your meals. If you feel that heavy, leaden feeling in your stomach after you eat, I recommend trying to switch to softer, more easily digestible proteins. Starting today, have you noticed your digestion slowing down after meals? Sen, don't eat your protein all at once. There's a limit to the amount of protein our bodies can absorb in a single sitting. It's generally known to be around 30 grams. If you try to consume all your daily protein in one large meal, like a big steak for dinner, any amount over that limit won't be used to build muscle. It will simply be flushed out of your system. This is, quite literally, a waste of nutrition. Many of my patients had a habit of eating a very light breakfast and lunch, and then trying to make up for it with a large, meat-heavy dinner. A 7-8-year-old gentleman, Thomas Suzuki, was one of them. He would have a simple piece of toast and milk for breakfast, and then a large portion of stir-fried chicken or pork for dinner, yet he complained that he never felt his energy return. In fact, he often felt bloated and uncomfortable all night from the indigestion. I proposed a change to Thomas's protein intake. I explained that it was crucial to divide his protein consumption evenly across 3 meals. For example, a light cod soup for breakfast, a dish of simmered tofu for lunch, and a modest portion of chicken salad for dinner. When you eat this way, your body receives a steady supply of the protein it needs, which is a tremendous help in maintaining and building muscle. Think of it like filling a small water bottle. You can't just dump a whole gallon in at once, it will overflow. You have to fill it little by little, several times. Your body's protein absorption works the same way. Are you still trying to eat all your protein in one sitting? Better than eggs. The protein power of cod. When people think of protein, the first thing that often comes to mind is eggs. And while eggs are a fantastic source of protein, dried cod, or pollock, offers even greater benefits, especially for older adults. Dried cod contains an astonishing 75 grams of protein per 100 grams, making it a far richer source than eggs. Furthermore, its soft, flaky texture, a result of the drying process, makes it exceptionally easy to digest, which is a huge advantage for those with weaker stomachs. The protein in cod is, in a way, pre-digestive, making its absorption rate incredibly high. I had an 80-year-old patient, Mr. Robert Sato, who had loved meat his whole life, but as he got older, he found that he could no longer digest it properly. He would feel heavy and bloated after eating even a small portion. Eventually, he started skipping meals altogether because he had no energy. I recommended he try a simple cod soup. At first, he was skeptical that a piece of fish could replace the protein he used to get from meat, but after just a few days of eating the soup, he marveled at how light and energetic he felt. Cod is not only rich in protein, but it also contains amino acids and essential minerals that are beneficial for liver detoxification. It played a huge role in Mr. Sato's overall health recovery. The way you prepare it is also important. Soaking the dried cod in rice water can help remove any fishy smell. Simmering it with daikon radish not only adds a deep, savory flavor, but also aids in digestion. Radish is rich in digestive enzymes that can further increase protein absorption. It's also vital that you don't just drink the broth. You must eat the pieces of fish and vegetables as well. That's where the rich array of proteins, minerals, and amino acids are concentrated. When you make cod soup, do you make sure to eat all the solid ingredients? Woo! The plant-based powerhouses, chickpeas and edamame. If animal protein feels too heavy, Leveraging plant-based proteins is an excellent strategy. 100 grams of boiled chickpeas contains about 20 grams of protein, and a tablespoon of edamame contains about 3 grams. Both of these foods are easy on the stomach, simple to store in small portions, and easy to incorporate into your daily meals. Chickpeas, in particular, are richer in dietary fiber than other legumes like lentils or black beans. This helps you feel full for longer, which can also aid in weight management. One of my dear patients, a 65-year-old woman named Yoshiko Watanabe, had always suffered from a cold stomach and poor digestive function. Eating meat would leave her feeling unwell for the entire next day, so her protein intake was always insufficient. I recommended she try incorporating chickpeas and edamame into her side dishes. It was an unfamiliar taste for her at first, but she started adding boiled chickpeas to her salads and rice, and sprinkling edamame into her vegetable dishes. Gradually, she got used to it. After a few months, she came back to see me, smiling brightly. "Doctor," she said, "for the first time, I feel like my body is actually absorbing nutrients." As her digestion became easier, she started to enjoy eating again, and her physical strength improved beyond what she had thought possible. You can soak and boil a batch of chickpeas and then freeze them so they are always ready to use. Edamame can be sprinkled, a spoonful at a time, onto soups or mixed into rice, adding a nutty flavor and an extra boost of protein. Do you regularly add beans or legumes to your protein-rich side dishes? Increasing the amount of protein is important, but what's even more crucial is ensuring that protein can be properly utilized by our bodies. So now, let's look at the conditions that help our bodies make the most of the protein we eat. The catalyst, making protein work for you. Vitamin B group, the cement for your muscles. Just as important as consuming protein is ensuring you have the helpers that allow that protein to be converted into muscle. Our bodies don't just accept protein. They must go through a complex process to turn it into the muscle tissue that is a part of us. In this process, vitamins B6 and B12 play a pivotal role. These two vitamins are essential for the enzyme activity in protein metabolism. If you think of protein as well-made bricks, then the B vitamins are the cement that holds those bricks together to build a strong wall. Without cement, it doesn't matter how good your bricks are. You can't build a proper wall. Similarly, if you are deficient in B vitamins, no matter how much high-quality protein you eat, it won't be properly absorbed into your muscles and will go to waste. Many people focus only on protein supplements or meat, but the food you eat alongside them is just as important. Our bodies cannot produce B vitamins, so we must get them from our food. Fortunately, they are abundant in many common foods. Dark green vegetables like spinach and broccoli, brown rice, and egg yolks are all excellent sources. For example, when you have your cod soup in the morning, add a side dish of steamed spinach. When you have your simmered tofu for lunch, choose brown rice instead of white. These small additions can make a huge difference. Combining protein-rich foods with foods rich in B vitamins creates a synergistic effect. Please, remember how important these nutritional pairings are. Do you regularly include vegetables and whole grains with your meals? Are fermented foods the allies in your gut? For the nutrients from the food we eat to be fully absorbed, a healthy gut is absolutely essential. The gut, our second brain, plays a vital role in our health. When the balance of beneficial bacteria in our gut is disrupted, our digestive and absorption functions decline, and no matter how good the food we eat is, our body can't accept it. Fermented foods like miso, natto, and kimchi help to increase the beneficial bacteria in our gut and aid in protein absorption. Natto, in particular, has already been fermented, meaning the protein has been broken down to the amino acid level, making it incredibly easy to digest even for a weak stomach. The lactic acid bacteria and enzymes produced during fermentation play a key role in enhancing protein digestion and absorption. If you often feel bloated after eating protein, try consuming fermented foods alongside it to ease the burden on your gut. A bowl of miso soup with plenty of tofu, or a side of kimchi with a meat dish, is an effective combination for both taste and nutrition. This kind of meal not only increases the efficiency of your protein intake, but also improves your gut health, which boosts your overall immunity. Beyond being delicious, fermented foods are the hidden allies working hard inside our bodies. Do you eat fermented side dishes with your protein-rich meals? Sen, the three saboteurs of protein. Just as important as eating good food is avoiding the habits that harm our bodies. I always tell my patients to be mindful of three things: coffee, alcohol, and salty foods. These three are the main culprits that interfere with protein absorption and metabolism. First, the caffeine in coffee interferes with the absorption of calcium, which is necessary for protein metabolism. Calcium is an essential mineral for muscle contraction and relaxation. Caffeine promotes the excretion of calcium through the kidneys, which ultimately hinders protein metabolism. That habit of drinking a cup of coffee right after a meal can have a bigger negative impact than you think. Second, alcohol suppresses protein synthesis. When you drink, your liver prioritizes breaking down the alcohol, which means important metabolic activities like protein synthesis are delayed. Finally, salty foods put a strain on your kidneys. The kidneys are a crucial organ that processes the waste products from protein metabolism. When you eat a lot of salty food, your kidneys become overworked and may not be able to function properly. Therefore, it's best to avoid these things before and after a protein-rich meal. A much better choice is to drink water or a healthy barley tea with your meal. Changing this one small habit can bring about a significant change in your health. Do you often drink coffee or tea with your meals? A final word: reclaiming your life. Today, we have talked at length about how protein intake is not just about quantity for our aging bodies. What we eat, when we eat it, and how we eat it are far more important. These factors play a decisive role in slowing down the rate of muscle loss. I have come to feel this truth deeply as I have met countless patients and watched over their lives. So many people I've watched over my decades as a doctor have lived this story. They thought they could eat anything they wanted, just like when they were young, and they neglected their health. Then their muscle mass plummeted, their movements became difficult, and their immunity declined. A small fall would lead to a serious fracture. A minor illness would take weeks to recover from, often ending in a hospital stay. This kind of decline robs you of all the simple joys of daily life. You want to play with your grandchildren, but you get tired instantly. Gatherings with friends start to feel like a burden. You resign yourself to it, thinking, this is just what it means to be old. And you spend your precious days in a state of lethargy. The moments in my office that have always brought me the most sadness were when patients would say, I'm old now, so there's nothing I can do. But I know that behind that resignation, there is always a hidden courage, a desire to try to make a small change. On the other hand, as we've discussed today, if you consistently practice a protein intake method that is suited to your body's condition, your body will begin to regain its vitality. Just like my wife, who went from having an aching back to being able to go shopping and run around with our grandchildren again. This is about more than just getting your health back. It's about getting your life back, the joy of waking up in the morning feeling light and energetic, the satisfaction of walking up and down stairs with strength, the vitality to say yes with a bright smile when your grandchild asks you to play instead of I'm too tired. All of this begins with proper protein management. I have had so many patients whose lives were completely transformed by this one simple change in their diet. The look in their eyes was incomparably brighter than before. It was the sparkle of hope, the realization of, I can do this. To the one thing you can put into practice today is to divide your protein intake into 3 meals. Start your day lightly with a cod soup, have a satisfying lunch of simmered tofu, and finish the day with a chickpea salad. With just this one small change, your body will begin to respond immediately. Once this habit is established, you will feel the changes yourself, and you will find the motivation to lead an even healthier life. But please remember, protein intake alone will not solve all your problems. Our bodies achieve a synergistic effect only when nutrition is combined with consistent exercise. If protein is the good soil and nutrients, then exercise is the water that spreads those nutrients throughout the body. allowing the plant to grow strong. That is why in my next video, I will teach you a 5-minute daily muscle exercise that you can do alongside the diet we've learned about today to further slow down muscle loss. It's not a strenuous or complicated workout, but a series of simple movements you can easily follow in your daily life. It is my most sincere wish that you do not feel trapped by your age, but that you can regain the vitality of your youth and enjoy a healthy life to 100 and beyond. I hope this video can be the first step on that journey. What is one eating habit you will try to change today? And which meal of the day do you think you need to fix first? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments.